My family treated me like an ATM, so I walked away and destroyed them. I'm a commercial real estate developer. Built my company from nothing, turned it into something worth protecting. That's important context for what happened next, because my family spent years confusing my success with their entitlement. My parents, Vernon and Isolde Voss, used to have money. Old money, the kind that came with country club memberships and investment portfolios managed by people in suits. Then my father made a series of spectacularly bad decisions in commodities trading, and suddenly the portfolio looked like a crime scene. My mother, who'd spent 30 years as a professional socialite, didn't adapt well to the concept of budgets. Then there's my brother. Zeph Calder took our mother's maiden name when he turned 21 because he thought it sounded more distinctive for business. The business in question was a luxury car dealership that hemorrhaged money for 3 years before finally collapsing. Before that, it was a boutique wine import company. Before that, a consulting firm that consulted exactly nobody. I paid for all of it. Not because I'm generous. Because every family dinner, every holiday, every random Tuesday phone call came with the same script, just this once. Just to get back on our feet. You know we'd do the same for you. Except they wouldn't. We all knew it. 2 months ago, my mother called with news. Zeph was engaged. The bride, Lyrixa Hale, daughter of Conrad Hale, who owns half the regional airline routes in the Midwest. Old money that actually stayed money. The wedding budget was $200,000. We're hoping you can contribute, my mother said, her voice doing that thing where it gets soft and fragile, like she's asking me to save a dying puppy instead of funding my brother's third act. How much? Well, the venue and catering alone are. How much, Mom? $150,000 would cover the essentials. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. I said I'd think about it. She called back 6 times that week. Finally, I agreed to a family dinner to discuss the plans. I knew what that meant. It meant ambush. It meant guilt trip dressed up as bonding. It meant I'd walk out lighter by 6 figures if I wasn't careful. But I went anyway. The restaurant was the kind of place where the menu doesn't have prices and the waitstaff calls you sir with enough reverence to make you feel like minor royalty. My father picked it, naturally. Still playing the part of a man who mattered. They were already seated when I arrived. My mother in something expensive and outdated. My father in a suit that didn't quite fit anymore. Zeph looking like he'd stepped out of a cologne ad, all confidence and zero substance. And Lyrixa. She was beautiful in that calculated way some women perfect, everything sharp, deliberate, expensive. Designer dress, flawless makeup, posture that screamed private school and equestrian lessons. When she looked at me, there was no warmth. Just assessment. Like a jeweler examining a stone to determine its value. Aurelian, my mother gushed, standing to kiss my cheek. You look wonderful. Doesn't he look wonderful? Successful, Lyrixa said. Not a compliment. An observation. We sat. Ordered. Made small talk that felt like chewing glass. My mother dominated the conversation, gushing about wedding plans, the venue, the flowers, the live orchestra. Zeph kept one arm around Lyrixa's shoulders, grinning like he'd won something. Finally, my father cleared his throat. So, the wedding. Here we go, I said. We're family, he continued. Family supports each other during important life events. Family, I repeated. Right. My mother jumped in. The venue deposit alone is $60,000, and with the catering package we've selected, we? I interrupted. Who's we? Silence. I assumed you'd handle the venue and catering, my mother said slowly. That's always been your strength. The financial side. My strength, I said. Not my responsibility. Zeph shifted uncomfortably. Bro, don't be like that. Like what? Like someone who's tired of being treated like a walking checkbook? The table went quiet. A waiter drifted past, sensed the tension, and course-corrected toward a different section. My father's jaw tightened. What exactly are you getting from this family? Is that what you're asking? Yeah, I said. Actually, it is. He stared at me like I'd just spoken a foreign language. My mother looked away, suddenly fascinated by her wine glass. Then Lyrixa laughed. Not loud. Just a soft, cutting sound that sliced through the silence. Oh, come on, she said, setting down her fork. Let's not pretend. They only keep you around because you pay. Everyone knows that. I waited for someone to contradict her. My mother. My father. Zeph. Anyone. My mother's head dipped slightly. A nod. Almost imperceptible, but I saw it. My father sighed. Well, You have to admit, Aurelian, you've always been better with money than emotions. Zeph laughed nervously, like this was a joke we were all in on. I smiled. Actually smiled. Cold and empty and final. You're absolutely right, Lyrixa, I said. Thank you for the clarity. I stood, pulled out my wallet, and placed $300 bills on the table. Consider this the last bill I'll ever cover. My mother's hand shot out. Aurelian, wait. I was already walking. Behind me, I heard my father's voice, let him go. He'll cool off. I reached my car, sat behind the wheel, and looked back through the restaurant window. They were still sitting there. My mother was crying. My father was talking, animated. Zeph was on his phone. Lyrixa was sipping her wine, looking bored. I started the engine. Turned off my phone. And drove away from the last family dinner I'd ever attend. I didn't go home. Instead, I drove to a boutique hotel on the other side of town, the kind of place that doesn't ask questions when you check in at 11 p.m. with no luggage. Paid cash for a week. The clerk barely looked up. The room was clean, minimal, anonymous. Perfect. I sat on the edge of the bed and turned my phone back on. It exploded. 63 missed calls. 42 text messages. The notification screen looked like a crime scene. I read every single one. Mom, please call me back. Mom, Aurelian, this isn't funny. Dad, stop being childish and answer your phone. Zeph, dude, seriously? Over one comment? Mom, you're breaking my heart. Zeph, she didn't mean it like that. Just call me. Dad, your mother is hysterical. Call her now. Mom, I don't understand what I did wrong. On and on. Anger, confusion, guilt, more anger. I didn't respond to any of them. Week 1, they thought I was cooling off. That I'd sulk for a few days and come crawling back like always. I went to work. Closed deals. Attended meetings. To my colleagues, nothing was different. But privately, I called my accountant. I need a full audit, I told Hiroshi. Everything. Every account, every transaction, every authorization attempt in the last 5 years. That's extensive. Is there a problem? I don't know yet. That's why I'm asking. He called back 3 days later. We found something, he said. Unauthorized access attempts on your business accounts. Someone tried to use your company as a credit reference. Who? Silence. Your brother's name is on the applications. My hand tightened around the phone. Keep digging. Week 2. The calls continued. I ignored them all. Zeph showed up at my office on a Tuesday. Security called up. Your brother's in the lobby. Says it's urgent. Tell him I'm not available. He's insisting. Tell him to leave, or I'll have him escorted out. He left. That afternoon, flowers arrived. Expensive, elaborate, the kind my mother used to send to impress her friends. The card read, "Family is forever. Please come home." Mom, I threw them in the dumpster behind the building. My accountant called again. You need to bring in a lawyer. This is bigger than I thought. I brought in Priya Malhotra. Former prosecutor, now one of the best business attorneys in the city. She spent 2 days reviewing the documents. Then she sat across from my desk and said, "This is fraud. Criminal fraud." Week 3, the evidence was damning. Someone had forged my signature on loan documents. Used my company's name and assets as collateral. 2 properties I actually owned, had been leveraged without my authorization. The signatures were good. Too good. Professional. And every single trail led back to Zeph. Total exposure, $847,000. I sat in my office, surrounded by printouts and documents, and felt something cold settle in my chest. Not anger. Not even hurt. Just clarity. This wasn't just emotional manipulation anymore. This was a crime. They hadn't just used me. They'd stolen from me. What do you want to do? Priya asked. We can file charges. This is open and shut. No, I said. Not yet. Why not? Because prison is too quick. I want him to understand what he's done. Really understand. She studied me for a long moment. What are you planning? I'm going to give him exactly what he deserves. Week 4. I hired a private investigator. Former FBI, specialized in white-collar crime and infidelity cases. I need everything, I told him. Financial records, communications, relationships. Everything about my brother and the Hale family. Budget? Whatever it takes. The wedding was 4 weeks away now. My phone still rang constantly. Mom, the wedding is next month. Please don't do this. Zeph, I don't know what your problem is, but you're embarrassing me. Dad, you're being selfish and petty. I read every message. Saved every voicemail. Evidence. All of it. Week 5, the PI delivered his report in a sealed envelope. I read it twice. Gambling debts, $340,000. Underground poker circuits, loan sharks, the kind of people who don't accept payment plans. Infidelity, 4 different women during his engagement. Instagram DMs, hotel receipts, burner phone records. The con, Zeph had told the Hale family he owned my properties. That he was a successful developer. That the wedding expenses were easily manageable for him. Every word was a lie. I also learned about Conrad Hale. Lyrics' father. Self-made man, ruthless businessman, fanatical about family reputation. Cut off his own nephew 5 years ago over a minor scandal. He valued integrity above everything. Perfect. Week 6. Wedding, 14 days away. I sat in my home office at midnight, surrounded by 6 weeks of investigation. The dossier was complete. 47 pages. Professionally bound. Organized into sections. Financial fraud. Infidelity. Lies. Debt. Every claim supported by evidence. Every document verified. Irrefutable. My phone buzzed. Another voicemail from my mother. I played it. Her voice was raw, broken. Please, Aurelian. Whatever we did, we're sorry. Just come to the wedding. Be there for your brother. He needs you. I deleted it. Opened my desk drawer. Pulled out a black box, the kind of premium packaging that screams important. The kind people don't ignore. I slid the dossier inside. Addressed it, Conrad Hale. Personal and confidential. Attached a letter on my business letterhead. Mr. Hale, as a fellow businessman who values integrity, I felt compelled to share information regarding Zeph Calder before your family becomes legally connected to his liabilities. The enclosed documents are factual and verifiable. What you do with this information is your decision. Aurelian Voss. My phone rang again. Mother. Still calling. Still begging. I looked at the package. At the phone. At the clock. 11:37 p.m. The courier service I'd hired guaranteed delivery by 7 a.m. The wedding was at 4 p.m. tomorrow. 14 hours for Conrad to read it. To act. To destroy everything. I opened the courier app. Entered the Hale family estate address. Delivery instructions, hand deliver to addressee only. Before 7 a.m. My thumb hovered over confirm delivery. 1 click. That's all it would take. I thought about Lyrics' smirk. My mother's nod. Years of being their solution instead of their son. I clicked confirm. The confirmation appeared on screen. Delivery scheduled for 7 a.m. Signature required. I set the phone down. Stared at it for a long moment. Then I poured myself a drink. Not a celebration. Just something to do with my hands. The apartment was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of silence that makes you aware of your own breathing. I sat on my couch, glass in hand, and waited for something. Regret, maybe. Second thoughts. Some kind of emotional collapse. Nothing came. I felt empty. Not hollow, empty. Like I'd been carrying weight for so long I'd forgotten what it felt like to set it down. My phone buzzed. Text from Zeph. Zeph, Mom said you're not coming tomorrow. That's messed up. It's my wedding. I read it. Didn't respond. Another buzz. Zeph, seriously? You're going to ignore me on the biggest day of my life? Delete. Mom, I don't know what else to say. Please. Just be there. Delete. I turned the phone face down and finished my drink. I didn't sleep. Not because I was anxious. I just couldn't. My mind kept running through scenarios. How Conrad would react. What he'd do with the information. Whether he'd confront Zeph directly or just pull the plug silently. At 3 a.m., I got up and made coffee. At 4 a.m., I went through the dossier one more time. Every page. Every document. Making sure I hadn't missed anything, hadn't made a mistake that would undermine the whole thing. It was perfect. At 5:30 a.m., I showered. Dressed in a suit. Not for the wedding, for work. I had meetings scheduled. Life doesn't stop for revenge. At 6:45 a.m., I opened the courier tracking app. Status, Out for delivery. Estimated arrival, 7 a.m. I watched the little icon move across the map in real time. A tiny vehicle carrying a bomb I'd spent 6 weeks building. 7:23 a.m. My phone pinged. Delivery confirmation, package delivered to Conrad Hale. Signature obtained. I set the phone down on my kitchen counter. Made another cup of coffee. Sat by the window and watched the sunrise. The city looked the same as always. Traffic building. People starting their days. Nobody knew what I'd just set in motion. I felt calm. Eerily calm. Like standing in the eye of a hurricane you'd summoned yourself. 8:15 a.m. Nothing yet. I went through emails. Responded to a client about a property inspection. Reviewed contracts for a deal closing next week. Normal. Everything normal. 8:45 a.m. My phone rang. Zeph, I stared at it. Let it ring. Watched his name flash on the screen until it went to voicemail. 30 seconds later, a text. Zeph, why is Lyric's dad calling me about financial documents? I read it. Took a sip of coffee. Set the phone back down. 2 minutes later, another call. Zeph again. Ignored. Another text, what did you do? I smiled. Actually smiled. Not cruel, not satisfied. Just acknowledgement. It was happening. 9 a.m. My office phone rang. The landline I barely used. Aurelian Voss. What did you do? My father's voice. Angry. Panicked. Good morning to you too. Conrad Hale's lawyers just contacted us. They're asking about fraud. About Zeph. About, he stopped. This is about that dinner, isn't it? Is it? You vindictive son of a. I hung up. Blocked the office number from his cell. My personal phone started ringing immediately. Father's cell. I let it go to voicemail. Checked the tracking app again, even though the package was already delivered. Just confirming. Making sure it was real. Delivered. Signed by, C. Hale. Real. 9:30 a.m. I was reading through a contract when my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Unknown, you destroyed everything. I hope you're satisfied. Lyrica. I typed back, I gave Conrad facts. He made his own decisions. Like adults do. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Unknown, the wedding is off. My family won't even speak to Zeph. He's in my apartment crying like a child. Me, then you've seen who he really is. You're welcome. Unknown, I'm leaving. I can't even look at him. Me, that's probably wise. She didn't respond after that. 30 seconds later, I was blocked. 10 a.m. I went to the gym. Normal Tuesday routine. Weights, cardio, steam room. My phone sat in the locker, vibrating constantly. I could hear it through the metal door. Angry buzzing, like a trapped insect. I didn't check it until I was done. 90 minutes later. 49 missed calls. Voicemails. My mother, sobbing incoherently. My father, threatening legal action. Zeph, broken, you're my brother. How could you? A number I didn't recognize, probably Hale family lawyer. I deleted them all without listening completely. Opened my text messages. The family group chat I'd forgotten existed was exploding. Mom, call me now. Dad, what have you done to this family? Zeph, I can't believe you did this. Mom, the wedding is cancelled. Mom, Conrad called off everything. Mom, they're saying Zeph committed fraud. Mom, answer your phone. I muted the conversation. 12:30 p.m. My pi sent a message. Hale family legal team is moving fast. Cease and desist letters going out. Wedding vendors all contacted. It's a full scorched earth response. Me, as expected. P.I., Conrad doesn't mess around. Your brother's reputation is done. Me, good. I closed the messages and ordered lunch. 2 p.m. 2 hours until the wedding was supposed to start. Instead of getting ready, I was in a meeting with potential investors for a new development project. My phone kept buzzing in my pocket. I ignored it. The meeting went well. Handshakes, commitments, plans for next steps. Professional. Clean. Real. As I walked back to my car, I checked my phone. 89 missed calls. My mother had left a voicemail every 15 minutes. Zeph's social media had gone dark. I checked out of curiosity. Every account deleted or privated. The wedding venue had posted a cancellation notice online. Everything was unraveling exactly as I'd planned. 4 p.m. Wedding time. I was at my desk, working through paperwork. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Aurelian Voss. Silence. Then a voice I didn't recognize. Male. Professional. Mr. Voss, this is Conrad Hale. My hand tightened on the phone. Mr. Hale. I received your package this morning. I thought you should know what you were getting into. Silence. Then, you could have stayed silent. Protected your brother. Most people would have. I'm not most people. No, he said. You're not. A pause. I've had my people verify everything in that dossier. It's all true. I know. Men of integrity are rare, Mr. Voss. You saved my daughter from making a catastrophic mistake. I didn't respond. I'd like to meet with you. Discuss a potential business opportunity. My turn to pause. What kind of opportunity? The kind that rewards character. Are you available tomorrow? I am. My office. 10 a.m. I'll have my assistant send you the address. He hung up. I sat there, phone still at my ear, processing. Then my phone buzzed again. Text from my pi, your brother just showed up at your building with your father. Security is holding them in the lobby. What do you want me to tell them? I looked out my window. Down at the street below. Saw my father's car parked illegally out front, saw two figures arguing with security at the entrance. I typed back, tell them I'm not available. Have them escorted off the property if they refuse to leave. Set the phone down. And went back to work. I left the office at 7. They were still there. My father and Zeph, standing on the sidewalk outside my building. Security had moved them out of the lobby, but they'd refused to leave entirely. I walked out the main entrance like they weren't there. Aurelian. My father's voice. Sharp, commanding. The voice he'd used when I was 16 and had disappointed him. It didn't work anymore. I kept walking toward my car. Don't you dare walk away from me. I stopped. Turned around. My father looked older than I remembered. Red-faced, disheveled. The suit that didn't quite fit seemed even worse under the streetlights. Zeph stood beside him, hollow-eyed. He'd been crying. His shirt was wrinkled, tie gone, hair a mess. You destroyed him, my father said. Your own brother. On his wedding day. I sent information to someone who deserved to know the truth. What they did with it was their choice. You know exactly what you did. Zeph's voice cracked. Lyrixa won't even look at me. Her father threatened to ruin me if I ever contact her again. The wedding, everything, was built on lies, I finished. Your lies. Family doesn't do this to family. I looked at my father. You're right. Family doesn't. But that's not what we are, is it? You're not my son anymore, he spat. I never was. I was your bank. I turned back toward my car. We raised you. My mother's voice. I hadn't seen her. She was sitting in the car, but now she climbed out, unsteady. We fed you, clothed you, gave you everything. And I've paid you back 100 times over. We're done. You can't just watch me. I got in my car and drove away. In the rearview mirror, I watched them standing there under the streetlights. Getting smaller. Disappearing. The next morning, I met Conrad Hale at his office. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Aviation charts on the walls. Photos of him with politicians, business leaders, celebrities. He was late 60s, silver hair, expensive suit. The kind of man who'd built empires and had no patience for weakness. Mr. Voss. He shook my hand. Firm grip. Assessing eyes. Thank you for coming. You said you had an opportunity. Direct. I like that. He gestured to a chair. I've spent the past 24 hours investigating you as thoroughly as you investigated my daughter's former fiancé. And? You're clean. More than clean. You built a legitimate business in an industry full of sharks. No shortcuts, no scandals. Impressive. Thank you. I'm expanding our operations. 3 new regional hubs, which means facilities, hangars, maintenance centers. I need someone who understands real estate development and has integrity. He slid a folder across the desk. Partnership proposal. Profit sharing, decision-making authority, full transparency. I don't work with people I don't trust. I opened the folder. Scanned the terms. It was generous. Extremely generous. Why me? Because you chose honesty over family loyalty. That's rare. And in my business, trust is worth more than talent. I looked up at him. When do we start? He smiled. Next week. 2 weeks later, my attorney called. The loans Zeph took out using your company as collateral, the lenders are coming after repayment. I already filed fraud reports and secured my assets. I know. But there's a complication. Your parents co-signed on several loans. They're legally liable. I set down my coffee. How much? $680,000. Their house is collateral. That's their problem. Aurelian, they made their choices, Priya. I made mine. Silence on the line. Then, they have 30 days to pay or they lose the house. Let me know when the foreclosure goes through. I hung up. Week 3, my mother showed up at my office. Security called. Your mother is in the lobby. Tell her I'm unavailable. She says she'll wait. Fine. She waited 4 hours. I watched from my office window as she finally left, shoulders slumped, carrying a purse that used to be designer but now looked worn. She left a letter with the receptionist. I threw it away without reading it. Month 2. The foreclosure notice arrived for my parents. 30 days to pay $680,000 or lose everything. My father called from an unknown number. Got through to my office line before I realized. You've made your point. Now help us fix this. I didn't make this mess. Zeph did. We're your parents. You were my parents when it was convenient. When I was useful. Now you're just people who raised me to be exploited. This is who you really are? Heartless? No. I'm just done being your emergency fund. I hung up. Blocked the number. Month 3, my pi sent an update. I'd told him to stop investigating, but he sent one final report as a courtesy. Subject, Zeph Calder, current status, declared bankruptcy, unemployable, background checks showing fraud allegations, moved back with parents, gambling debts still outstanding, creditors making threats, Lyrixa obtained restraining order after he showed up at her workplace. I read it once. Filed it away. Felt nothing. Month 4. The house sold at foreclosure auction. My parents moved to a small apartment on the other side of town. The kind of building with thin walls and parking lot full of 10-year-old sedans. A handwritten letter arrived at my office. My mother's handwriting, shaky now. We have nothing left. Please. Just help us one more time. We're sorry. We made mistakes, but we're family. That has to mean something. Please, Aurelian. I read it sitting at my desk. The Hale partnership had just closed our first major deal. $15 million in contracts. My company was expanding faster than I'd planned. I looked at the letter again. Opened my desk drawer. Filed it away with the others. Didn't respond. Month 5. Business was thriving. Conrad introduced me to investment groups, development opportunities, people who actually valued competence over obligation. I started going to networking events. Industry galas. Making real connections with people who saw me as a professional, not a wallet. At a dinner party, a colleague asked about my family. Don't have one, I said. Oh. I'm sorry. Don't be. It's liberating. Month 6. My phone rang at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Hello? Heavy breathing. Then my mother's voice. Older. Broken. Please, Aurelian. I'm begging. We're losing everything. I walked to my window. Looked out at the city. You lost everything when you nodded at that dinner. You just didn't realize it yet. We made mistakes. No. You made choices. For years. This is just the bill coming due. I'm your mother. You were Zeph's mother. I was just the solution to his problems. Silence. Crying. I don't even recognize you anymore. Good. Because the person you knew doesn't exist anymore. He was just your ATM. What are you now? I watched the city lights. My city. My empire. The consequence. I hung up. Blocked the number. And poured myself a drink. The next morning, I woke to an email. Subject, family emergency. From, Vernon Voss. I stared at it for a long moment. Deleted it without opening. My phone buzzed. Text from my pi. P.I., thought you should know, Zeph tried to contact you yesterday through my firm. Claimed it was urgent. Wanted me to relay a message. Me, what message? P.I., He says he understands now. What he did. What they did. Says he's sorry. I read it twice. Set the phone down. Went to work. I didn't respond to the pie about Zeph's message. Didn't acknowledge it. Didn't think about it. Just went to work. Week 7. The Hale partnership was expanding faster than projected. Conrad introduced me to his network, serious people with serious money who valued results over pedigree. At a development conference, someone asked how I built my business. Alone, I said. No family money. No connections. Just work. The respect in their eyes was real. Earned. Not obligated. It felt different. Week 8. My mother called from another unknown number. Got through my office screening. Aurelian, please. I hung up immediately. Changed my office protocol. No calls from unknown numbers unless pre-scheduled. My assistant asked if everything was okay. Just blocking spam, I said. She nodded and went back to work. Month 3. The foreclosure was finalized. My attorney sent me the documentation as a courtesy. The house sold for less than market value, distressed sale, rushed closing. My parents had 30 days to vacate. I filed the papers away. That night, I received a text from a number I didn't recognize. Unknown, they're putting mom and dad on the street. Are you happy now? Zeph. Different phone. Me, they put themselves there. I just stopped paying their way out. Unknown, you're a monster. Me, no. I'm just not your solution anymore. Blocked. Month 4. I ran into someone from my parents' old social circle at a restaurant. Margaret something, used to host charity events with my mother. Aurelian. I heard about your business success. Congratulations. Thank you. And I'm so sorry about your family situation. Your mother must be devastated. I set down my drink. What situation is that? She looked uncomfortable. Well, the house, the money troubles. Everyone's been talking. Let them talk. Her smile froze. Of course. Well, it was good seeing you. She left quickly. I finished my meal in peace. Month 5. The partnership closed a major deal. Airport expansion project, 3 facilities, 5-year contract. Conrad and I celebrated at his club. Your instincts were right on the timeline, he said, raising a glass. Saved us 6 months of red tape. That's why you hired me. No, he corrected. I hired you because you have integrity. The skill is just bonus. We toasted. Real respect. Real partnership. No ulterior motives. This was what professional relationships were supposed to feel like. Month 6, week 1. I was in a meeting when my personal phone buzzed repeatedly. Emergency override, someone calling multiple times in succession. I excused myself, stepped into the hallway. 3 missed calls from unknown numbers. A voicemail. I played it. My father's voice. Different than before. Quieter. Defeated. Aurelian. Your mother is. She's not well. The stress, the move, everything. She's in the hospital. I know you don't want to hear from me, but she's asking for you. I deleted it. Went back to my meeting. Month 6, week 2. Another voicemail. Different number. She had a breakdown. The doctors say it's stress-induced. She keeps asking why you won't visit. I don't know what to tell her anymore. Delete. Month 6, week 3. Text from Zeph. Mom's getting worse. Whatever you think of us, she doesn't deserve this. Please. I stared at it. Thought about the dinner. The nod. The years of being used. Typed, she made her choices. Deleted it before sending. Just blocked the number instead. Month 6, week 4. Late night. My apartment. I was reviewing contracts when my doorbell rang. I checked the security camera. Zeph. Standing in my hallway, looking like he'd aged 10 years and 6 months. Thinner. Tired. Broken. I didn't open the door. He knocked. Waited. Knocked again. I know you're there, Aurelian. I can see your lights on. I muted my TV. I just want to talk. 5 minutes. Please. Silence. Mom's in the hospital. She had a complete breakdown. Won't eat. Won't talk. Just cries and asks for you. I sat very still. I know what I did was wrong. I know what they did was wrong. I'm not asking you to forgive us. I'm just asking you to. I don't know. Show mercy. Mercy. The word hung in the air. Please, Aurelian. She's your mother. I stood. Walked to the door. Put my hand on the handle. I can hear you, Zeph said from the other side. I know you're there. I stood there for a long moment. Then walked away. Back to my couch. Back to my contracts. After 20 minutes, I heard footsteps retreating down the hallway. Month 7. My mother was released from the hospital. I learned this from my attorney, who heard it from their attorney during a separate matter. She's back at their apartment, Priya said. Medicated. Stable, but fragile. Why are you telling me this? Because they asked me to. Asked if I could convince you to visit. And? I told them I'm your attorney, not your therapist. What you do with family is your choice. Good. Silence. For what it's worth, Priya said carefully, I'm not judging your decision either way. But I have to ask, are you okay with how this is going? More than okay. I'm free. Month 8. Business was booming. Second major contract with Hale Industries. My company doubled in size. I hired more staff. Moved to a larger office. Started mentoring young developers who reminded me of myself, ambitious, self-made, no safety nets. At a company dinner, my senior architect asked about work-life balance. Do you have family obligations that pull you away from projects? She asked. No, I said. No obligations at all. Must be nice. It was. Month 9, another letter arrived at my office. My mother's handwriting, even shakier now. I see now what we did. How we treated you. I can't sleep. Can't eat. Can't stop thinking about that dinner, about the nod. I was wrong. We were all wrong. Please. I don't need money. I just need to know you don't hate me. Please respond. Please. I read it in my office. Looked out at the skyline. My success. My empire. Opened my desk drawer where I kept all the letters. There were 7 now. Added this one to the pile. Closed the drawer. Month 10. I was at an industry gala when I saw her across the room. Lyrixa. She looked different. Lighter. She was with someone, tall, professional looking, aerospace engineer according to the name tag. Our eyes met. She hesitated. Then walked over. Aurelian. Lyrixa. Awkward silence. I should hate you, she said. You probably should. But I don't. She glanced at her date, then back to me. You saved me from the worst mistake of my life. I saved myself. You were collateral benefit. A small smile. Still. Thank you. Her date called her name. She turned to go, then stopped. That night at dinner. What I said about them keeping you around. I was testing you. To see if you'd push back. And? You failed the family test. But you passed the character test. She walked away, I watched her go. No bitterness. No regret. Just acknowledgement. Month 11. My phone rang at midnight. Unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Aurelian Voss. Breathing. Then my mother's voice. Weak. Tired. I just wanted to tell you. Your father and I are divorcing. I sat up. I'm sorry to hear that. Zeph blames me for pushing you away. Your father blames me for the loans. I blame myself for everything. Silence. I'm not calling for money. I just wanted to say. You were right. About all of it. I know. Can you ever forgive? No. I heard her breath catch. But I don't hate you either, I continued. I just. Nothing you anymore. That's worse than hate. Maybe. But it's honest. Silence. Then, quietly, will I ever see you again? I looked around my apartment. My life. Everything I'd built without them. I don't know. Probably not. Goodbye, Aurelian. Goodbye. I hung up. Sat in the darkness. Felt. Nothing. No guilt. No satisfaction. No pain. Just empty space where obligation used to live. My phone buzzed. Text from Conrad, dinner tomorrow night? Celebrating the new contract. Bring your A-game, I'm introducing you to the board. I smiled. Typed back, I'll be there. Set the phone down. And slept better than I had in years. 1 year later, the gala was at the Grand Meridian. Black tie, open bar, 200 industry leaders celebrating the completion of the airport expansion project. I stood near the floor-to-ceiling windows, champagne in hand, watching Conrad work the room. He was in his element, handshaking, deal-making, building connections that would last decades. A year ago, I didn't know him. A year ago, I was still my family's ATM. Funny how fast things change when you stop letting people use you. Mr. Voss. Conrad's assistant appeared at my elbow. Mr. Hale would like to introduce you to the board members. They're asking about the Phase 2 development timeline. Lead the way. The next hour was handshakes and projections. Questions about logistics, budgets, expansion potential. Real conversations with real stakes. People who cared about competence, not connections. At one point, the chairman of the board pulled me aside. Conrad speaks highly of you. Says you have integrity. That's rare in this business. I just do the work. Modest, too. He smiled. We're lucky to have you. Lucky. Not obligated. Not trapped. Lucky. I excused myself, stepped onto the balcony for air. The city stretched out below. Lights everywhere. Life happening in a million different directions. My phone buzzed. Text from my attorney, final update on the Calder matter. Parents' divorce finalized. Your father moved to Arizona. Mother staying local. Zeph still working as a detailer at a used car lot. No further contact attempts in past 3 months. I read it twice. Typed back, thanks. No more updates needed. Priya, you sure? I can keep tabs if. Me, I'm sure. Close the file. Priya, done. Congrats on the gala, by the way. I pocketed the phone. Looked out at the city again. Somewhere out there, my mother was alone in a small apartment. My father was starting over in a different state. Zeph was waxing cars and dreaming about the life he'd lost. I felt nothing. Not satisfaction. Not guilt. Nothing. They were just people now. Strangers with shared DNA and terrible memories. There you are. Conrad stepped onto the balcony, 2 drinks in hand. Offered me one. Needed air, I said. Big night. You handled the board well. Just being honest about timelines. That's what I mean. He looked out at the city. Most people in your position would overpromise. You gave them realistic expectations and a solid plan. That's why they trust you. Trust has to be earned. It does. He paused. Can I ask you something personal? Go ahead. Your family. The ones you cut off. Do you ever regret it? I considered the question. Really considered it. No, I said finally. I regret not doing it sooner. He nodded slowly. My wife thinks I'm too harsh when I cut people off. But some relationships are poison. Doesn't matter if they're blood. Exactly. We stood in comfortable silence. My daughter's here tonight, Conrad said. With her fiancé. The real one this time. I saw them earlier. They look happy. They are. He glanced at me. She asked me to thank you again. For the dossier. Said it was the wake-up call she needed. She would have figured it out eventually. Maybe. But you saved her time. And pain. He raised his glass. To making hard decisions. I clinked my glass against his. To consequences. Later that night, back at my apartment, I sat at my desk. Opened my phone contacts. Scrolled through the names. A year ago, my emergency contacts were Mom, Dad, Zeph. Now, attorney, business partner, Conrad Hale, Marcus, college friend I'd reconnected with, Dr. Patterson, my physician, people who valued me for who I was, not what I could provide. I opened my blocked contacts list. Vernon Voss. Isolde Voss. Zeph Calder. And about 40 unknown numbers from the past year. All silenced. All powerless. I closed the app. Poured myself a drink. Sat by the window. My phone stayed quiet. No demands. No guilt trips. No emotional manipulation disguised as family obligation. Just silence. And for the first time in 32 years, that silence didn't feel empty. It felt like peace. I thought about the dinner. About Lyric's comment. About my mother's nod. That was the moment everything changed. Not when I sent the package. Not when the wedding collapsed. Not when they lost the house. That dinner. That nod. That was when I stopped being their son and became their consequence. Some people spend their whole lives looking for family. Building it. Fighting for it. Sacrificing everything to keep it together. I spent mine learning to recognize when I never had one. They didn't want a son. They wanted a solution. They didn't want a brother. They wanted a bank. And when I finally understood that, when I finally accepted that the relationship was transactional, not emotional, everything became clear. I didn't owe them forgiveness. I didn't owe them another chance. I didn't owe them anything. My phone sat on the table, screen dark. No calls. No texts. No voicemails begging for money or mercy. They'd finally learned what I'd known all along. I wasn't their safety net. I was the price of their choices. And I'd collected in full. I raised my glass to the empty apartment. To the silence. To the freedom. To being the consequence instead of the solution. Then I finished my drink, set down the glass, and went to bed. Tomorrow, I had a meeting with investors. A site inspection. A business lunch with Conrad's board. Real work. Real relationships. Real life. Without them. And that was exactly how I wanted it. My phone sits on the table, silent. No demands. No guilt trips. No emotional blackmail disguised as love. Just silence. And for the first time in 32 years. That silence sounds like peace. They wanted me to be their safety net. Instead, I became their reckoning. And I became free. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.